So I've started studying culinary techniques at the high school. So a 5 years program where during the 4th and the 5th year got the chance to be part of the Italian national team of chefs under 21. Amazing time because I was growing up and at the same time I was really getting into food in a completely different way. After the 5th year, I decided to continue my studies. I moved from Venice, that is my hometown, to Milan for 3 years, bachelor degree in interpreting and communication in the economic sector. After these 3 years, I decided to move to the States for a master program in business administration. Looks a bit strange or difficult to understand why these actually different approach according to the type of school, but actually is really connected because I started from being in love with food itself and after that with what is behind the food. So the real idea of is not only about cooking, but is also about understanding food cost management, decisions behind the food area and the simple cooking and creating food into a plate. I started working in Electrolux Professional more or less 11 years ago. At that time, when I've been hired, I've been asked to follow a special field, a special section of the company that was related to special customers, VIPs, and let's say Michelin star customers. After a couple of years, I've been involved in a series of meetings together with chefs that are working for Electrolux Professional. So these chefs are actually representing our Global Chef Academy. And at that time, I was really intrigued about the possibility to transfer, since I'm based in Italy, in Pordenone, where we have our biggest center of excellence. And over there, we are managing the majority of the creation of the appliances. So to be able to transfer as much as possible to our chefs positioned all over the world. So at that time, there was this a chance to guide and to work together with our Chef Academy as a responsible person that after a few years became a real position, so activation chef. So at that time I got the possibility, the real chance to transform my passion in food in completely different passion that is made of passing information and transferring knowledge and expertise not only in food but into technology. And technology nowadays is the key for an amazing journey in a cuisine, because into a kitchen, when we talk about cooking, we talk about high temperature, we talk about a lot of stress, a lot of decision that needs to be taken correctly and in a short amount of time. And if you have the right technology behind you or close to you, you have actually like an extra chef that is helping you under a different form, because we talk about technology and not human beings, but actually close to you to help you, to guide you sometimes, and to be, don't worry about, and to tell you, don't worry about what you're going to do because I'm close to you and I'm helping you to do the right choice and to go for the correct way of approaching food and food technology. So right now in Electrolux Professional, I'm responsible for all the chefs we have of the Academy. As a corporate chef activation, I'm taking annually some specific training to all of our chefs. Sometimes they all join Pordenone, our center of excellence. Sometimes I travel all around the world in our different division, in our different center of excellences, and we do training, update on the appliances, and last but not least, let's say new management of demos, presentations, fairs and exhibition management, and much more. Well, I have to say, frankly, when I got in, I have been amazed about the space. This space looks super nice. It has been super beautiful to see these many kitchens fully equipped by our appliances with a lot of chefs working at the same time simultaneously on their own specific station and having the chance to work in parallel with food and technology. Students were really interested, and the mix and match of question in between cuisine, so Italian cuisine and the recipes that I have prepared specifically for this occasion, plus technology question, because actually I'm in love and I'm representing a company that is anyway selling, promoting and passing the importance of using the right technology in a kitchen that were really simply nice. I have started the conversation together with the students, talking about the importance of being accompanied about the right technology. And I used an analogism that actually they used to live at the beginning of any training here in MSA. This is specifically into cutting techniques. The beginning of their journey starts with the cutting techniques. And I said, and I asked to them, so what the most important thing into this passage of your school, let's say, experience? And I say, well, it's a mix and match of the right ingredients and a good knife. So when we talk about cutting techniques, we need to talk not only of the chef and the food you are cutting, but the right knife. Because if you don't have the right knife, cutting techniques drop down dramatically. This is transported, so moved to the next level. The same thing with the rest of the equipment in the kitchen. We need to be skilled, we need to be creative, we need to be mentally prepared for what we are going to do, but at the same time, we need to be accompanied by the right technology. And I'm really happy that we have these 20 years old connection and partnership together with MSA here in Istanbul, because I would say that the presence of our equipment are partially the result of the future of these students. So, well, the world is a bit big, but I would say that if we could possibly answer to this question in a local way. So let's take, for example, Turkey. I've seen Turkish food in Turkish food, a lot of Italy. And I see in Italian food, a lot of Turkey. I think that this mix and match is simply the chance to have a wonderful relationship in between different cultures. Italian food is for some people seen as a simple way to prepare nice food with simple ingredients, well balanced. We are in love with olive oil, salt, pepper, some fresh herbs, and not so much more than this. But actually, as I always say, simplicity is difficult. It's easy to create an amazing plate with important ingredients, expensive ingredients, and so on. I don't want to say easy, but it can be easier sometimes. With simple ingredients, low profile ingredients, taking care of the food wastage, of the chance of using and reusing, so giving a second life to ingredients, something that is strictly related to the period that we are living and foreseeing right now globally, because we are taking care of the environment and the quality of the food, the shelf life, the decision of using some ingredients instead of some other ones, and so on, is really important. And in my opinion, Italian cuisine is really into this, but on the fundamental part of it, in the sense that we are not readapting ourselves into this new way of approaching cuisine. We have been always taking care of leftover, second life of the ingredients, and so on. And when you have a smaller amount of ingredients in the same plate, it is easier to manage it, because the more ingredients you have, the more difficult becomes to manage leftovers and simple things and the simple ingredients you're not using. In Italian cuisine, where we use less ingredients, so we are not maximizing the plates, but we are minimizing themselves, it's much easier to manage. By the way, I'm really happy and I'm proud to be Italian, because anyway, Italian cuisine is all over the world well recognized, and in my opinion, this idea of recognition is justified by what we do and how much love we put in creating our local food. But at the same time, I see in Turkey and in a lot of other countries this beautiful approach and this openness in leaving our taste and our flavor and mixing and matching with their self, and at the same time we are happy to do as well with Turkey. I was talking together with the students and the professor a few minutes ago, and I was arguing that I got the chance to try a few times some mesas. And the idea of sharing mix and match with your local ingredients and the way you mix and match them, so the plating, the color you use, the color palettes in the same plate, and the flavor mix is simply delicious. I'm in love with Turkish cuisine. Well, I have to tell you the truth. Nowadays, I started to go back to basics. So it looks like weird, but not weird, but quite simple as an answer. But fresh pasta. Pasta is becoming more and more a global plate, but not only because of the pasta itself, but it's because it's a sharing plate. All the people, majority of the time, are happy to eat the same plate for all the table. So for all the people that are eating. Friends, not friends, family, couples, whatever it is, pasta makes the whole thing like a beautiful moment. After the last 5 years where we have faced a situation where we unfortunately didn't have enough chance to pass a lot of times together, right now we are rediscovering the pleasure of living a common moment together. And in my opinion, pasta is a great example of sharing a nice moment at the end of the day after a good day of work, at work, or something else to make this thing happen in the best way, with the best experience ever. Actually, I tend to be quite infused by the local to create something special. Right now, what I can tell you is that I'm really into vegetarian environment. I'm discovering alternative way to propose main dish without using proteins, animal proteins. I think that is a mix and match of ethic and creativity. And one of the basics of a nice chef is working with ethic and at the same time being creative. So getting back to the main concept and the question you asked me, I would say that I'm in love with vegetables in general. The possibility of recreating massive flavors and at the same time wonderful color mixed and to work with seasonality is simply amazing. And the possibility of mixing these seasonal ingredients together with the latest technology, as for example low temperature cooking, high temp steam, low temp steam, sous vide, and much more, gets these all experience very simple. So I would say that technology itself is really important for what regards this specific question, because without it, I possibly would not have the same feeling and the same easy to answer to this question. Well, this is at one side difficult, on the other side very easy. Thanks to Electrolux Professional, I have the opportunity to travel a lot. Before, at the beginning of the journey with the company, I got the chance to travel really often, more or less every single week. So as a flight attendant, more or less. Nowadays I'm flying a bit less because we have the opportunity to train also via web, so with videos, computers, and much more. But I get updates during the flying using web. I follow many chefs that are creating monthly programs. I read a lot, culinary books. And last but not least, the curiosity, I would say, is the best weapon ever. Because you can get infused by a simple plate, passing by a restaurant, and you just see what's going on. Just watching patisserie and you see something new and you just pop in and you say, can you explain me what it is? So the curiosity, in my opinion, mixed and matched together with the web that right now gives you the availability of getting more or less any single information is more than enough. So first of all, I would say that to become an interesting person, so I'm taking away good and I'm taking away chef. I would, let's say, prefer to call interesting character instead of good chef. Because at the end of the day, it's something that we can transfer to any single work. But I would personally say, be creative, think out of the box. So don't be stick to the rules, but know the rules. Because as we always said, I will remember forever my history teacher at the elementary school that was telling me, why do we study history? We study history not to repeat the same mistakes of the past, right? This is the same thing in culinary ambient. We must start from knowing the basics to get out of them. So to be creative, to go and think out of the box, we need to know really well, we need to have a clear picture of what's the beginning. So for chefs, I would be super focused in understanding the basics. After that, with our eyes, nose, and palates, decide how much out of the box we want to go. And when we are there, just be free as much as possible. Because this is the key of being happy. And happiness is the basics of a creative person and a productive person.